The public layer, darts as entertainment. What most people see when they think of darts is the televised spectacle, loud crowds, walk-on music, fancy dress, and players with bold personalities. This layer is built for entertainment, with every detail crafted to capture attention and make the sport feel like a party. The most iconic example is the PDC World Darts Championship at Alexandra Palace. The venue is packed with fans dressed as everything from bananas to superheroes, chanting songs and cheering after every 180. These events are scheduled during the holiday period and broadcast across the UK and Europe, pulling in millions of casual viewers who may not watch darts any other time of year. Walk-on music plays a major role. Players are introduced with customized entrances featuring strobe lights, smoke machines, and their theme song. Peter Wright walks on to Don't Stop the Party. Michael Van Gerwen enters to Seven Nation Army, and Fallon Sherrock's walk-on has become iconic. These entrances are designed to build hype and are often more memorable than the matches themselves. Darts commentary also enhances the spectacle. Phrases like 180 are delivered with dramatic inflection.
The winner of 157 PDC titles worldwide, he is a three-time champion of the world!
Commentators focus on checkouts, averages, and match-turning moments rather than technical breakdowns. It's meant to be accessible to viewers who don't know darts deeply. Player branding thrives in this layer. Peter Wright changes his hair color and darts regularly. Gerwyn Price wears a muscle-fitted shirt and flexes mid-match. These visual cues create characters and rivalries that casual fans can follow. It doesn't matter if someone knows their free dart average. What matters is if they remember the mohawk. 9-darters, the perfect leg, are treated like unicorn moments. When they occur on TV, they're replayed repeatedly, often trending on social media. Similarly, last leg deciders and comeback wins dominate YouTube compilations. They are edited and shared to drive viral attention. The Premier League of Darts also operates in this space. Weekly events across different cities combine darts with concert-like production. The matches are shorter, the crowd louder, and the staging more theatrical than traditional ranking events. Sponsorships and promotional videos add to the performance element. Darts players are featured in ads for beer brands, betting firms, and sportswear. Their presence extends to social media platforms, where clips are packaged with music, graphics, and hashtags to appeal to younger audiences. In this layer, darts isn't just a sport, it's a spectacle. Performance value is equal to or greater than competitive success. The goal is to entertain, to go viral, and to be remembered. The analyst layer, darts for the obsessives. This layer is built for viewers and players who understand that darts is more than walk-ons and 180s. It involves statistical precision, equipment analysis, technique breakdowns, and strategy dissection. These are the fans who track averages, calculate probabilities, and understand why one setup might outperform another under pressure. The first key metric is the free dart average, which measures how many points a player scores on average with every 3 darts. A professional level average typically exceeds 90, with elite players regularly hitting between 100 and 110. However, average alone doesn't win matches. It must be paired with timing and finishing. Finishing, or checkout percentage, measures how efficiently a player converts opportunities to win legs. A player might average 105 but still lose if their opponent checks out more consistently. This is why analysts often prioritize checkout conversion and first dart accuracy when judging a player's performance. The first 9 average is another advanced metric. It tracks a player's average over their first 3 visits per leg, which often determines whether they gain scoring momentum. A high first 9 average indicates strong opening pressure, while a low one suggests the player is chasing from behind. Break of throw percentage is essential for understanding match dynamics. Since players take turns throwing first, holding one's throw is expected. Breaking the opponent's throw is where matches are won. Top analysts focus on how often a player breaks serve under pressure or against high averages. Analysts also study player rhythm and tempo. Some players throw rapidly, like Ricky Evans, while others take deliberate pauses. Understanding tempo is crucial because rhythm affects both the player and their opponent. Players who switch their pace mid-match can disrupt their opponent's focus, intentionally or not. Equipment analysis belongs entirely to this layer. Every element, dart weight, barrel shape, point length, stem material, and flight design, can influence trajectory and groupings. A shorter stem might create tighter groupings, while a longer one helps with stability. Changes in atmospheric pressure, stage lighting, and even oki height are factored into player setups. Match play strategy also lives here. Analysts examine how players attack different checkouts. Some may favor treble 19 combinations, while others rely on double 6 instead of double 8. Strategic decisions often reveal a player's comfort zones and psychological tendencies under pressure. Tactical timing matters. Elite players may throw a cautious round to set up a 2-dart finish instead of risking an awkward number. Analysts consider the mathematics of darts, how best to reach a clean finish from 167 versus 132. Route selection becomes a defining trait of smart play. Professional analysts and coaches use heat maps and data plotting tools to visualize where darts consistently land within the scoring segments. This helps in identifying small errors in angle or wrist control that may go unnoticed to casual observers. Player form analysis across tournaments is also crucial. A drop in average from 100 to 93 may not sound severe, but when combined with a declining checkout percentage and fewer high scores, scores of 140 or more, it signals form regression. This guides predictions and coaching interventions. At this level, darts becomes a data-driven sport. Every throw is part of a pattern, every miss has context. The difference between winning and losing is not just what was hit, but when, how, and with what level of consistency. The dark layer, darts behind the curtain. This layer reveals the personal struggles, hidden pressures, and physical toll that professional darts can take on players, none of which is visible on the scoreboard. While fans cheer for a player's entrance music or admire a high checkout, they rarely see what happens off stage, behind hotel doors, or in the silence after a crushing defeat. Many players have battled addiction, particularly to alcohol. In the earlier decades of darts, alcohol was not only common, it was normalized. Players would drink pints mid-match, with some believing it helped settle nerves. Legends like Jockey Wilson and Andy Fordham both struggled publicly with alcoholism. Fordham, at one point, weighed over 30 stone and admitted to drinking over 20 bottles of lager a day before major matches. His collapse during the 2005 Grand Slam was a turning point in public awareness of the toll it took. Mental health struggles have also shaped careers. Richie Burnett, a former world champion, stepped away from the sport due to severe depression and financial difficulties. Glenn Durrant, after a rapid rise and Premier League title, suffered a sudden loss of form and openly discussed the emotional impact of public ridicule and social media abuse. Many players have spoken about the loneliness of the circuit, spending weeks in hotels away from families, with little support beyond their own resolve. Dartitis is one of the most misunderstood and devastating conditions in darts. It's a psychological block that disrupts a player's ability to release the dart. There is no physical injury, just a mental short circuit. Players like Aspinall, Bristow, Mark Webster, Barry Vampire, and Kevin Painter have battled dartitis on and off, with varying degrees of public understanding and support. For some, it ends careers. For others, it turns matches into nightmares. Financial instability is another silent pressure. Outside the top tier, many professional players live tournament to tournament, often funding travel, accommodation, and entry fees themselves. A single poor run can set players back thousands. Those on the Challenge Tour or Development Tour face even harsher realities, often working part-time jobs just to stay competitive. Without sponsorship, most cannot sustain full-time careers. The grind of the tour also takes a physical toll. Long-haul travel across Europe, back-to-back matches, and irregular sleep patterns can wear players down. Some older players struggle with joint pain or repetitive strain injuries, especially in the shoulder and elbow. Unlike footballers, darts players don't have full-time physiotherapists or medical teams. They manage their own recovery. The emotional pressure to maintain a spot on the PDC Order of Merit can be intense. Players who drop out of the top 64 risk losing their tour card, meaning they must re-qualify through Q School, an annual 4-day elimination event. Even well-known names like Raymond van Barneveld and Lisa Ashton have had to battle their way back through this brutal reset system. While fans focus on who wins the titles, this layer reveals who almost didn't make it to the stage at all. Careers can fall apart quietly. The sport rewards performance, not perseverance, and behind every televised match are dozens of silent struggles that rarely make headlines. The dirty layer, darts politics and scandal. This layer focuses on the hidden politics, mismanagement, and controversies that have shaped the darts landscape. Beneath the image of professionalism and theatrical competition, darts has a long history of organizational splits, financial disputes, and decisions that prioritize image or profit over fairness. The most defining example is the split between the BDO and the WDC in the early 1990s. A group of elite players, including Phil Taylor and Dennis Priestley, broke away from the British Darts Organisation to form what eventually became the Professional Darts Corporation, PDC. The split was driven by dissatisfaction with prize money, sponsorship access, and television coverage. The BDO tried to ban players who participated in WDC events, leading to a protracted legal battle and years of fractured competition across rival world championships. This division fundamentally reshaped the sport and created a rift that lasted for decades. Player selection for televised events, especially the Premier League, is often criticized for lacking transparency. Wildcard entries are typically chosen by broadcasters, not tournament results. This has led to backlash when higher-ranked players are snubbed in favor of more marketable names. Fans and players alike have questioned the fairness of selections when they seem driven more by personality, controversy, or viewership appeal than by merit. The now-defunct BDO's financial collapse in 2020 is one of the clearest examples of organizational failure. Years of declining prize money, unpaid winnings, and dwindling television deals culminated in a disastrous World Championship at the O2. Players received less than half of their promised earnings, and several professionals vowed never to compete in BDO events again. The organization was formally liquidated shortly afterward, leaving hundreds of players without a stable competitive platform. Accusations of match fixing have occasionally surfaced, especially in lower-tier events and international exhibitions. While very few cases have been proven or officially pursued, the irregular betting patterns and suspicious leg outcomes in certain untelevised matches have raised concern. Without the strict oversight that major tournaments receive, smaller events have been vulnerable to integrity issues. The issue of wildcard favoritism and broadcaster influence extends beyond the Premier League. Players have accused tournament organizers of adjusting match times and lineups to favor certain stars for prime-time viewing slots. Critics argue that this undermines competitive balance and creates a two-tier system within the sport. The topic of gender inequality also resides here. Female players have far fewer opportunities in televised events, and when included, are often subject to different qualification rules. Fallon Sherrock's historic wins led to calls for structural reform, but consistent integration into PDC events remains limited and selective. Prize money disparities remain stark outside the top-tier women's competitions. Behind the scenes, players without sponsorship must often negotiate unfair terms or pay high percentages to third-party managers and booking agents. Some events require players to sign media rights waivers, limiting their ability to monetize their own footage or highlights. Others are contractually tied to equipment sponsors for years, with few protections if their performance dips. This layer shows that darts is not only a test of skill, but also of survival within a system shaped by commercial, political, and organizational interests. Even the most talented players must navigate a web of decisions that aren't made on the oche. The mythology layer, darts, folklore. This layer captures the legendary stories, iconic moments, and larger-than-life figures that form the folklore of darts. These are the events that fans remember not because of the stats, but because of the way they made the sport feel. Stories that get passed down, replayed, and relived with reverence. One of the most retold myths in darts history is Paul Lim's 9-darter at the 1990 BDO World Championship. It was the first ever televised perfect leg at a World Championship, and it turned Lim into a cult hero. He did not go on to win the title, but the moment is remembered more than most championship wins. The checkouts, the timing, and the reaction became immortal. Phil Taylor's dominance across 3 decades is often spoken of in mythical terms. With 16 world titles and countless match wins, he was more than just successful. He became a figure of inevitability. The 2002 World Final, where he defeated Peter Manley 7-0, is remembered not just for the scoreline, but for the aura of total control. Many fans and commentators still describe that era as the power era, where Taylor seemed untouchable. Another moment that entered legend was the 2007 PDC World Final between Taylor and Raymond van Barneveld. The match went to a sudden death leg in the deciding set, with Barney emerging victorious. It was a meeting of 2 giants from separate darting worlds, and the clash carried both sporting and symbolic weight. To this day, it is cited as one of the greatest matches in darts history. Jockey Wilson's wildcard brilliance and unpredictability have also taken on legendary status. His lifestyle, his quick wit, and his natural talent made him a fan favorite. Stories about him playing while heavily intoxicated and still winning have become part of darts mythology, whether fully true or not. In recent years, Fallon Sherrock's 2019 run at the PDC World Championship has taken on mythic qualities. Her victories over Ted Everts and Mensa Suljovic made her the first woman to defeat a man at the World Championship, sparking a global media frenzy. Her achievement was replayed worldwide and transformed her into a symbol of progression in the sport. Luke Littler's 2024 emergence as a teenage sensation is already entering the mythology layer. His calm demeanor, elite-level finishing, and run to the World Championship final at just 16 years old marked one of the most astonishing breakthroughs in sports. Commentators and fans alike compared it to Tiger Woods or LeBron James emerging on the world stage. Another story often repeated is Eric Bristow's mentoring of Phil Taylor and how he financed Taylor's early career. That relationship is viewed as the passing of the torch from one era-defining talent to the next. Bristow's influence on Taylor and on the professionalization of darts itself has become part of its oral tradition. Then there are the legendary feuds. Peter Manley refusing to shake Phil Taylor's hand after a humiliating defeat became an emblem of darts rivalry. Manley's villain persona and the crowd's reaction are remembered more than the result itself. These moments shaped the drama and storytelling around darts. The 2010 Grand Slam 9 darter from James Wade, only for Scott Waits to immediately follow up with a near-miss perfect leg, is another mythic sequence. In darts mythology, proximity to greatness matters almost as much as the act itself. These stories become more than just history. They are the symbols, clashes, and moments that define eras. They are replayed endlessly, not because of their statistical weight, but because of their emotional, cultural, or historical impact on the sport. The deep core, darts as a way of life. This layer is where darts stops being a sport and becomes something deeply personal. It's where identity, belonging, pride, and pain all intersect. In this space, darts is not just a game, it's a coping mechanism, a lifeline, a culture, and in many cases a home. For many working-class players and fans, darts represents access to competition without privilege. Unlike football or golf, darts doesn't require expensive equipment, private coaching, or elite academies. A £30 set of darts and a wall-mounted board is enough to begin. This accessibility has allowed generations to pursue the game from pubs, garages, and bedrooms, creating a culture where talent can rise from anywhere. In countless UK towns, the pub dartboard is a community hub. League nights are woven into social routines. Local rivalries stretch back decades. For many, it's not about prize money, it's about identity. Winning a local singles title or hitting a 180 in front of mates carries as much emotional weight as a televised win ever could. At the elite level, the emotional cost of competing is profound. Raymond van Barneveld's battle with depression, despite his world titles, revealed how identity becomes entangled with results. After losses, he often spoke of feeling like a failure to his country and fans. His repeated retirements and returns weren't just career decisions, they were emotional cycles played out in public. For players like Glenn Durrant, the experience of going from Premier League champion to first-round exits brought humiliation and self-doubt. He described feeling broken, not just in form, but in spirit. Darts, once a source of purpose, became a source of anxiety. Dartitis, at this level, is more than a performance issue. It represents a psychological fracture. Players describe the helplessness of not being able to release a dart, even after decades of perfect muscle memory. For many, it feels like losing a piece of themselves. The emotional stakes extend to fans. People travel hundreds of miles, spend months saving for World Championship tickets, and plan holidays around televised majors. For some, attending Ali Pali or Winter Gardens is a once-in-a-lifetime pilgrimage. It's not just about who wins, it's about being part of something that gives them joy and belonging. In small towns and cities, darts is passed down generationally. Grandfathers teach grandsons how to aim for treble 20. Old pub photos capture decades of league champions. A set of darts is sometimes the last thing passed down from one player to another. These moments are about legacy, not ranking. Some professionals find deeper meaning in giving back through coaching or exhibitions. Others find peace away from the spotlight, returning to pub leagues or mentoring juniors. For them, darts without TV cameras is not a step down. It's a return to what made the game meaningful in the first place. This layer contains the sacrifices that never get counted. For those who live in this layer, Darts isn't entertainment, it's personal history, community memory, and emotional survival. It's not about trophies, it's about staying connected to something that makes them feel like they belong. If you want to understand just how far passion, obsession, and identity can push a player, wait until you see what happens when that passion turns into dominance. So dominant, in fact, that the rules of darts had to be changed just to contain them.